Hey everybody, how you doing? Good to see you all. Pulling up the comments now as we speak. First one in the Sned Shed. Chris C. Hello, David and everyone else. Yellowstone Scooters. Hello. Andrew the Dave Meister, the Davinator Dave. How you doing, Andrew? Good to see you, brother. Making copies. Hilarious. Old SNL skit. Fantastic. Wonder how Beast must breathe glass shards. Hello, Dave. Good to see you, Lamorin. I think you were the first on Rumble, actually, in the house. So welcome. Lacey, hey, Sneds from Mississippi. Vicky, hello. Mitch, hello. Kareen, good to see you. Lisa, good to see you. Can you feel it? Hello, Patriots. C Route 17. I feel it. I feel it. I feel it. I feel it. Benjamin, good to see you. Christina, what's happening? Good evening, Dave, Tammy. Bill, hi, Hawk and Sneds. Good to see you, Bill. Michelle, hello, hello, hello. What's happening, everybody? What's happening? Everyone coming in the house. Mr. Sciatica, another epic night on the way. I agree, my friend. And thank you for all the support. Kevin, fantastic. Oops, Dave, LOL. No worries. Hey, DavidSned, Christina, good to see you. It was great speech. I didn't get through it all, but I did listen to a lot of it, and it was fantastic. So, understated and yet so fantastic. Like he doesn't have to say much. Is my lamp a little off kilter here? I've got a little bit of a lamp issue here, my friends. That's good. I have to literally sit it against the wall. I need to step it up here in the studio, my friends. Yeah. So, my friends, this is going to be an epic show. I agree. Last night was fantastic. My thanks to Script Keeper, who just brought some great energy and some great knowledge to us. And I am actually looking forward to tonight's show equally if Sir Oliver is able to get home and get settled. He's traveling today, I believe, and we're going to have him on in a little bit. But if not, I'll try to get him on tomorrow night. So this is also good. I get another fix, and I love it. Hi, Dave, and everyone here coming in. Hi, Shay. Good to see you. And that's me when I drop something like that. It shows up as Hawks because we share the studio. All right, my friends. Let me get into it. Gonna get into some really cool stuff here very quickly. I'm going to dispense with the monologue tonight and just get right into so much good that is happening, and I want to just be very, very clear about what I believe is unfolding before us. And I did want to share this out on Truth. Folks, please share this out, this Truthcast. I am copying and putting it in Truth Social. And there we go. Okay. We are on Rumble over on The Indoctrination. Let's see. Okay, there we go. And let me see. Okay. Just wanted to. Okay. So, my friends, this is what happened yesterday was very significant, and I want to just step into that really quickly. And basically, let me find. I'm sorry, I just got thrown off here. Okay. Last night, let me do this. Okay. So I want to go to the primary topic last night was the QComs that was given to us by Spiritual Street Fighter 17. Real shout out to her and the work that she's doing. I don't think Trump has ever retruthed any one person 8 times in the same day. So I'm going to get right into this because it's very, very significant. And I want to take you to, before I get into that, I want to just backtrack to the following. And this was a drop that I just did, a post that I just did on Twitter. And that is documents obtained by investigative journalist Yehuda Miller through the Freedom of Information Act confirms beyond the shadow of a doubt the DOJ and the FBI uncovered a massive 2020 ballot fraud operation based in Michigan and operated in multiple swing states, including Washington, D.C., Chicago, Illinois, Georgia, Iowa, South Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Florida, funded by Joe Biden's 2020 presidential campaign. Okay. GBI strategies busted for submitting fraudulent voter registrations during 2020 election cycle. Following a raid, Michigan law enforcement discovered caches of prepaid gift cards, semi-automatic rifles with silencers, 4 modified pistols with ammunition inside, and disposable burner phones. Throughout the 2020 election period, these Democratic cartel election committees provided more than $4 million to this criminal organization. That money came from Biden for president, $450,000. Democrat senatorial campaign, $2,117,000. DNC Services Corporation, $1 million. Democratic Party of Iowa, $493,100. Now, something to consider with all of these here is how much of this the Zuckerberg money of, I believe it was about $500 million, went into these organizations before going to the next organization, right? Going into this organization before going to the next level. So not only did Zuckerberg just come out and verify that there was election interference that he was asked to be involved in, but there was election interference with the money that he donated for this fraudulent election. And by the way, just speaking to the elections for just one moment, if I may, that is, if you look, and I'm sorry, I accidentally left the music on in the background. I hope that wasn't distracting to anybody. I tend to do my shows without music in the background. But let me just say for regarding elections, okay. When you are engaged in something as a government for the people and for the support of the republic for which we stand, it is not incumbent upon us to prove that the elections were meddled with. Okay. It is up to the organizations, the local and state and federal organizations all involved with this election. It is up to them to prove to us that they were not meddled with. Okay. I'll give you an example. If we're betting money, okay, and I'm dealing the cards, okay, it's not up to the other person to prove that I'm cheating. It is up to me to show very clearly, look, I'm taking off the top. Here's your card. Here's the next card, et cetera, et cetera. It's up to the casino to prove that they're not cheating by having it done by a machine, just spitting out the cards and flipping over the cards. they are regulated by the state, the organizations that make sure that they're not cheating the population that is coming through their doors. The gambling commission and all that. It is not up to us to prove that they screwed us over. It is up to them to prove to us that they did not. And that is the shift that I haven't seen anyone make. That is the shift in thinking that I haven't seen anyone make. If we're having a conversation with a friend that doesn't believe that the 2020 election was stolen, okay, and they say, well, there was no proof that the election was stolen. Well, first of all, we've got mounds of it. It's just the corrupt courts weren't hearing those mounds of evidence. But when it's up to when there's so many discrepancies and they stop the vote counting, and then all of a sudden Biden gets 100,000 in a row, and things of this nature, the 4 a.m., the videos of the people pulling the suitcases out from under the table in Georgia, and the trucks pulling in Michigan, in Detroit, and all these testimonies of somebody driving ballots cross country and all this kind of thing. When you have even an inkling of discrepancy, the onus is on the people who did the elections and were responsible for doing it correctly to prove to us how they did not cheat. That's the shift that needs to take place. And quite honestly, what I'm seeing is that this mountain of evidence is coming out in such a way that we are going to see the overturned election, as we should have seen with Pence on that fateful day, January 6th, where they had to tell everyone that wasn't there at J6 that it was an insurrection. And the people that were there, like myself, we were there to say this was a stolen election. And we came out in full force, but peaceful force. And then the infiltration of that was intended to project that we were the bad people just for challenging the election. And so the narrative shifted for the next several years. It shifted from this was a fraudulent election to the MAGA people were out of control. They were insurrectionists, and never before have we ever seen anything like this. And Meanwhile, nobody was armed. Nobody was nobody was hurt from our side, and most of us weren't even involved in that because we were still listening to Trump down at the Ellipse. But that was done obviously to shift the thought, the perception, and the focus from was the election stolen or wasn't it, to look at how terrible these people are. And they used that to get Trump off social media at 2 days later, right? So so I offer that. So back to this. So and I'm going to get back to the truths from yesterday. The investigation was initiated following the observation of a Muskegon, Michigan clerk who noticed an individual depositing 8,000 to 10,000 completed voter registration applications at the city office on October 8th, 2020. Cheers, everybody. By the way, check your coats coming into the Sned shed out of the cold, all in your big old parka, hooded parka, all your indoctrination, preconceived notions, unconscious bias. Just going to ask you to take that off and check it at the coat check. Grab a claim ticket. It's safe there. You can grab it on your way out. Come on in and download something fresh without the veil of the programming, without the veil of the conditioning over many, many, many decades. And let's download some fresh information. And I hope you're huddled in with somebody that you adore, or some beautiful bean that you adore, and a snack and a favorite drink. Cheers, everybody. Here you go. Here's to you. And here's to our republic. The same individual returned multiple times, registering an additional 2,500 voters. Thousands of these registrations displayed identical handwriting with fraudulent addresses and phone numbers. Additionally, signatures did not match those on file with the criminal Secretary of State, Jocelyn Benson. And the icing on the cake, plus 100,000 ballots cast in the November 3rd, 2020 election were also falsified at Jocelyn Benson's own election headquarters. FOIA, this is the Freedom of Information Act. I am following up with some information on one of the most egregious situations that I encountered. There are many examples of significant election integrity issues, but this example involves actions of federal government officials from both the local and state levels that are shocking. Dawn N. Eisen, Department of Justice Assistant U.S. Attorney, Public Corruption Unit. We received this complaint. Guess what the criminals do when the FBI and DOJ got hold of this investigation? Passed it right back to this criminal who were running it. Who the fuck was she planning to shoot? Listen to this.
If someone were to violate the law and not certify,
I'm sorry, I've got to bring this over to the Brave browser. And here we go. And by the way, as I get into this and as I track this down again, I just want to say the following, and that is that if somebody questions, and I know some of you in the chat are saying that you've, had arguments with people, or some people don't believe that it was stolen, et cetera, just ask them, well, are you watching what they're doing now before the election ever even happens, i.e. assassination attempt, i.e., trying to imprison Trump, i.e., kicking Joe out because they know they can't beat him, i.e., just plugging in Kamala because she's there and she's the closest to the office and probably the one that is most likely to challenge him, and to keep the money that I think they're doing illegally for the election. Look at all the actions they're taking with the rigging the debates and then avoiding the debates, and how Kamala's not even talking to the public, and how Joe's just disappeared, and how the odd departure of Biden, the fake Joe Biden. Look at all these things that they're doing now to try to sway the election. Okay, the gag order, where he can't talk about a case that he's implicated in, indicted for, and they take the First Amendment away from the President of the United States, former President of the United States, in their eyes. I mean, look at all the things they're doing now. Why wouldn't they, and now that we see that CV, what that was all about in 2020, and the summer of love and the racial division and stirring that whole thing up, which is what they do every year, every election year. Look what they're doing now, my friends. Why wouldn't they cheat if they have the opportunity? Here we go.
If someone were to violate the law and not certify the election at the local level, we will come for you. So any local certifier thinking of skirting the law and not certifying the vote, don't even think about it, because we'll get if someone were to violate the law and not certify the election at the local level, we will come for you. So any local certifier thinking of skirting the law and not certifying the vote, don't even think about it, because we'll get if someone were to.
So this is Michigan, right? This is a little tough to read. I got to find another copy of that. But this is the Michigan Department of State Police. Muskegon City Clerk Ann Maish and Deputy Clerk Kimberly Young contacted the Muskegon Police Department after noticing irregularities in voter registration applications received both in person and by mail. Maish received a small quantity and then larger quantities of voter registration applications by mail from a female later identified as such and such, redacted. It was found that Redacted was working for a company called Redacted, who also went by the name Redacted. Maish stated that, in her opinion, a quantity of the voter registration forms were highly suspicious and possibly fraudulent. Her opinion was based on the fact that numerous forms appeared to have been completed by the same writer, and upon initial examination, addresses on multiple forms were invalid or non-existent. Maish investigated further and found that phone numbers on multiple forms were erroneous, and signatures on multiple forms didn't appear to match signatures on file with the Department of Secretary of State. The redacted company stated the company was working to register voters and help registered voters obtain absentee ballots. Okay. So this is, how many stories have we heard of this, right? Multiple stories that we've heard of this type of thing going on. And what we have, here we go. I missed this part and I have to share that. For some reason, it wasn't popping up on this one. This is what I needed to show you. The vendor recipient of GBI Strategies, who basically ran this election, Democrat senatorial campaign. This is the numbers I mentioned earlier. DNC Services, Democrat Party of Iowa, and Biden for president. Also, the Black PAC, which notoriously is Democrat, and Black Church PAC, right? And I don't know what Julian for the Future is, if that's an Assange thing, but it's a very small number. And League of Conservative Voters is 1,000. So under 20,000 for possible 2 conservative camps. And then, millions of, over 5 million, I believe, for the others. So they funded the whole thing, just right about 5 million. They funded the whole thing, right? And so what's significant about this popping up today to me was that yesterday, what we saw, sorry, here we go. The world will soon understand, Spiritual Street Fighter 17. The world will soon understand nothing can stop what is coming. This is also Q proof that Trump retruthed on Truth Social. Also, and look at the beautiful artwork that she does. Also, nothing can stop what is coming, right? So those were the two mentions. Also, this is not another 4-year election returning power to the people. In the end, God wins. There's a Q plus there I'm going to go to later. Hold the line. Justice is coming. Read truth if you're ready for justice to be served. Again, nothing can stop what is coming. Nothing. Where we go one, we go all. Read truth. And all roads lead to Obama. Read truth if you want public military tribunals. Trump retruthed all of these. Okay. So when you look at this particular this particular post, I said, let me see what happened to it. Sorry, folks, I just missed that. Got a little distracted with, here we go. I said NCSWIC, double meaning. Okay, going back to this particular post that I reposted, NCSWIC, double meaning. And what I mean by that is under CISA, which is the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, America's Cyber Defense Agency, the NCSWIC, nothing can stop what is coming, mission and history. Sorry, this is the American Cyber Defense Agency. Okay, and this is basically this oversees communication, and also it oversaw the election of 2020. And if you remember, the director of 2020, I forget his name, but I'm going to pull this up. Yeah, I think it was Chris Krebs. Okay. Yeah. So Chris Krebs was the director of Cybersecurity Infrastructure Security Agency from November 2018 and November 2020. He was fired by President Trump after contradicting Trump's claims of election fraud in the 2020 presidential election. He's an attorney, and he basically said that these were the most secure elections in U.S. history, which we know to be absolutely false. Absolutely false. And so now I will say that this CISA is under the reach of the what do you call it? Homeland Security, and so this under Homeland Security, and they are about to move offices. That I thought this was very interesting, in that they are going to the DHS campus, which is being relocated to St. Elizabeth's Hospital, which used to be a psychiatric hospital in southeast Washington, D.C., operated by the District of Columbia Department of Mental Health. How interesting that the Department of Homeland Security is going to be holed up in a mental hospital, right? Pretty hilarious, if you ask me, especially when you consider the fact that they're absolutely anywhere near where they should be regarding our border security. Okay. You need to go play. Little dude is starting to get a little antsy. Anyway, so I wanted to bring that up. Now, remember, this is Trump retruthing these posts, which are also not only talking about nothing can stop what is coming, which is a double meaning to the CISA wing, which is, by the way, I don't think I told you, this is what it means. It is the National Council of Statewide Interoperability Coordinators, and assists state and territory interoperability coordinators with promoting the critical importance of interoperable communications and the sharing of best practices to ensure the highest level of interoperable communications across the nation. I can't believe they used interoperable. 1 in the name, 2, 3, 4. 4 times they use that word in that description, which I find to be quite ridiculous, especially a word that is so difficult to say, and you're all about communications. Okay. So let me take you back to the Q+. Okay. A couple things that I want to jump into, and a little bit of this last night I covered, but I'm going to get into it a little bit deeper tonight. Here's a Q+ com. Okay, so this was discredited, okay, by or attempted to be discredited again by the mainstream media, specifically CNN, Okay. And Jake, I'm sorry, Anderson Cooper. All right. So I'm going to play this for you. And I'm going to focus on, let me find it here. No, you need to go. You're not going to get in here and you're not going to grab my stuff and ruin it. Okay. Nothing like a 6-month-old puppy to really streamline the show here. You want to come up and say hi? Come here. All right, there he is. Hold on. There he is. There's Jasper. You want to say hi, Jasper? Say hello. Say hello, buddy. Hey, up here. No, you're not going to take my mouse pad. No, I don't give you enough things to chew. What's going on? Huh? All right, buddy. And I got to take him to the groomer too. All right. Get down. Go get your toy. All right. So there you have it. There's there's my assistant who is I think I got to get better help. I got to tell you. I thought with 4 legs he might be effective, but he's a handful. So let me take you to actually I wanted to take you to Derek's post here. And let me find it. I haven't reshared it yet because I wanted to do it here. So let me just find it. No. Actually, I can give you that. Here. I'm going to give you that. Here. There you go. Go get it. There you go. Okay. Go get it. And okay. All right, here we go. Friend Derek Martin dropped this tonight. Thanks for resharing the show. Here you go, my friends. And I'm going to just read it. I think it's a great post. And I'm going to reshare it. Close your eyes and listen to the words of Anderson Cooper in the segment below. Just for a moment, suspend your knowledge of reality that he's a cuck puppet of the left, beholden to his billionaire elitist familial ties to global banksters. Now focus on his words only. If you struggle ignoring his screechingly annoying voice, look at the transcript instead. He not only reports directly on how deeply @real Donald Trump has committed to reinforcing Q drops, aka conspiracy theories, but repeats several of the most significant and currently most timely drops word for word. Think about it. As evil as the cabal is, they certainly are not dumb. Really think, why report on this in the first place? They know a nightly news report like this doesn't sway the minds of Trump supporters nor their own. And more importantly, based on X trending and interactive data showing so many undecided middle America are thirsty for truth and increasingly engaging in the disclosure of the corrupt end secrets of our global slave masters. Why focus on this? Why spend a 10-minute segment not only bringing the Q operation to the surface again, but highlight several of the most relevant Q drops? They 1000% know the significance of these drops, and more than likely, if happening on some scale in the background, as many of us believe, they know the reality of those words, especially related to treason and mass arrests. Jasper, no. I am convinced that CNN is fully under white hat control at this point. They may not entirely appear that way in much of their reporting, nor could they flip the switch that quickly, but an honest and objective view on the overarching theme of recent interviews, roundtables, and key primetime reporting tells me something has profoundly changed. Folks, if this is true, if the MSM machine of the left have been flipped, then we are so close. Let's fucking go. Where we go one, we go all. Thoughts, tag some folks. And this was
who wants to be
posting May Rocks, but this was originally Carly Bond. Okay, Carly Bond. So let me share this with you. It's 2 minutes and 48 seconds. Enjoy.
in the United States who wants to be the next president is now directly spreading the slogans of the conspiracy cult QAnon, as well as posting a crude, sexist, and misogynistic slur online. Reposting, to be precise, which means he didn't come up with it himself, but liked it so much that he wanted the rest of the world to see it, which is both a gentle introduction and a warning. One posting of several uses two QAnon catchphrases: "Nothing can stop what is coming," which refers to the so-called mass arrests of so-called deep state members, which in the warped world of QAnon is basically anyone who has irked Donald Trump. Another posting shows President and Hunter Biden, Nancy Pelosi, Hillary Clinton, Anthony Fauci, Bill Gates, and Vice President Harris in prison in orange jumpsuits. Dr. Fauci and Bill Gates presumably there for their advocacy of vaccination. Again, this is what the former president of the United States chose to rebroadcast to and amplify for his many followers. He did not look at this stuff, chuckle silently to himself, if that's what he would do, and move on. Instead, he wanted to give it the stamp of approval of the 45th and perhaps the 47th president of the United States. And then there is this, a photo of Kamala Harris and Hillary Clinton. The caption, which I'm not going to read out, is demeaning of both women and contains a vulgar reference to oral sex acts. Now, remember, again, this is the Republican candidate for president and the 45th president of the United States talking about two women who, no matter what you think of their politics, are two of the most accomplished women in American political history. This is what he chose to amplify, which, as extreme as it is not exactly out of character when it comes to him and women.
She was by far the nastiest to Joe Biden. There was nobody nastier than her.
She was extraordinarily nasty to Kavanaugh. She was nasty to a level that was just a horrible thing. She was probably nastier than even Pocahontas.
By the racist Attorney General of New York State, Letitia Peekaboo James.
How about low IQ Maxine Waters?
Omarosa is obviously the ultimate villain and the nastiest. I think it's a very nasty question when you ask continue in a very hostile, nasty tone. What a stupid question. But I watch you a lot. You ask a lot of stupid questions.
Just moments ago, a Harris campaign spokesman put out a statement quoting him now: "Donald Trump is out of his mind. If a family member posted what Donald Trump is sharing today, Americans would rightly be concerned. But this is what Donald Trump and his Project 2025 agenda offer America: prosecuting political opponents, using dangerous conspiracy theories to justify harmful policies, and dividing Americans."
All right. So it went on for longer, but we don't need to watch all of that. But here's the thing that that's interesting to know. First of all, when it comes to the whether or not CNN is white hat controlled or not, it matters, but it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter what you believe on the subject. Either way, it's a white hat script. And I've said this on a couple shows now, that if I were writing, and I'm a screenwriter, like, and by the way, I think it's going to be Saturday night. I'm going to do a movie night, and I'm going to share with you all my movie called If You Only Knew, which was picked up by HBO after I made it in 2000. And it's a lovely romantic comedy. I think you're really going to like it. It's gotten rave reviews. It was second in the audience award at the Santa Barbara Film Festival. And it was a small independent movie. And I have Allison Eastwood in it, who's Clint Eastwood's daughter, Jonathan Sheck, James LeGros, and Gabrielle Anwar, who danced the tango with Al Pacino in Scent of a Woman. Lovely, lovely lady. So I'm going to share that with you, I believe, Saturday night. And I'm going to also share a project that I'm working on with you and ask for your support in that and your involvement. So at any rate, cheers. as a screenwriter, if I were writing the white hat script, I couldn't do it any better than they're doing it right now. And I do believe that certain elements, certainly like X, were under white hat control a long time ago, and brought Musk in. This is all part of the organization. This isn't just happenstance that Musk is like, oh, I'm going to support Trump. No, this is all planned out, thought out, and it's a white hat operation. It's a Q operation. Trump is continuously communicating to us the Q connection, and long before yesterday's, 8 posts of spiritual Street Fighter. But what an exclamation point yesterday was, especially with her artwork involving, Q plus. So, so one of the things I've also said is that all of the mainstream media, all they've been doing is reading off a script that they've been handed anyway. And so if Q has it all, then now Q has the same damaging material, whether it be video with children or pictures with children or evidence with children, with murders and sacrifice, etc. If that was all had by the black hats that were controlling the narrative and controlling our politicians and music and movie industry and so forth, like the big movie industry, not at my level that, barely reaches anybody. I'm talking about studios and blockbusters and, franchises. If those control mechanisms were suddenly overtaken by the white hats because we have it all, then they can just shift the script and hand people like Anderson Cooper a different script. This is how this is all playing out. But either way, whether it's the black hats clinging on for dear life in the fourth quarter of this game and doing anything they can, assassination attempt, all this, if that's a black hat operation, all that, then they couldn't do it any better than if the white hats had control, because the same level of desperation is being communicated. No. The same level of communication is happening, whether it's the white hats or the black hats. But I wonder why Anderson Cooper, I don't know, might have a problem with Q. Well, let's take a look, shall we? Well, for starters, Anderson Cooper is mentioned many times in the Q drops. 4914, October 21st, 2020, shows his mother, Gloria Vanderbilt, Anderson Cooper, and his brother, who is dead and possibly was sacrificed. Because why do we think maybe sacrificed? Well, look at what's in the bedroom. This is a human sacrifice of flames inside a box in some kind of a demonic art form. Okay? So, the mentions of the people that have gone to Epstein's Island. Let me go to a couple more here. Here is he with his brother and his mother again. Again, Gloria Vanderbilt, the famous fashion queen, who we now have seen what's going on in the fashion industry through Les Wexner and Brunel and J.P. Morgan financing and Les Wexner, Victoria's Secret and L Brands. But look, she's wearing the same necklace as the Pope, who has pedophilia vestments. Okay. And the Nazi pin tag with a communist symbol. Okay. Double meanings exist. What was I just saying earlier? Right. Double meanings exist. So you think Anderson might have a problem with Q and might have a personal vendetta? Here's one of the most damning. This is a picture of, I believe it's Joan Benet Ramsey. It's like a cardboard cutout. This looks like he's in his, his study or his office or what have you. And but here's the thing. Saw this in the last thread. Focus on papers on the table. Graphic at top. They all belong to the same sick cult club. Well, I have done studies on this. I've blown this up. This is adrenochrome harvesting. This is child trafficking, all rolled into one. And he is shopping. Okay. He's shopping. Now, the other thing that that didn't pop up with my search was what do you call it? I'm forgetting the name right now, but let me take you because I reposted this. This guy. This guy is obviously John Podesta, right? This is Chester Bennington or Benning. I'm forgetting. I really don't know them that well. Did you know Lincoln Park was a military base in Canada where they experimented and tortured children for a top secret CIA project called MK Ultra? I did not know that till today. I knew that these two were possibly linked, related, father, son, possibly. I don't know. I don't normally just go off pictures, and I haven't investigated it. But supposedly, Chester was Bennington. Thank you, Renz. Chester and Chris Cornell were going to expose a very dark pedophile who was partners with Spielberg, another one that we that Q has pointed us to, and other evidence have pointed us to. Speaking of, stolen children and so forth, and they were going to do a documentary exposing. What's the guy? I'm forgetting the guy's name now. Do you guys know? He's DreamWorks. He's one of the top guys in DreamWorks. You'll come up with it in the chat, please. But please do. So what I want to do in the drop here is go to Podesta, and we should see the following pop up. And that is, there's a lot of Podesta in here, and that is this picture, which was on the wall, one of many on the wall of young boys and girls in this seemingly tiled background sitting on this particular bench. But also, and we see the Red Shoe Club here, which Bill Maher, there's a reason why he's not voting for Trump, folks. He's not an anti-establishment dude at all. And I'm not finding it, but it was the pool in the basement of the Vanderbilt mansion. Yeah, it's not popping up. Here it is. Here it is. So basically what Q is telling us is that the pool of the painting in Podesta's house with the underground pool at the Vanderbilt home and these hanging ropes and these children. Okay. which Q is pointing us to the sacrifices there. It's a very ominous room, is it not? And so Q points us in that direction. And this is why Anderson just might have a problem with Q, right? All right, what's his name? You guys, come on, I need somebody to come up with this. Come on, you guys are on your computer. Do a dive. Come on, help me out here. My back is killing me from carrying you motherfuckers. Come on, man. Geffen. David Geffen. He was partners with Spielberg, and they were going to expose Geffen supposedly, and Geffen had him taken out, or the cabal had him taken out to protect this person. Okay. So let me take you back. Let me take you back to, and thank you, Kevin Rotello, for your posts on this, sharing Spiritual Street Fighter 17. Folks, you can find her on Truth, and you can also find her on X, Spiritual Street Fighter 17, or at Spiritual Street Fighter. Definitely, please give her a follow. So this is the Q plus, okay, and also the Q plus with the parentheses, okay. Now I got to ask her if that was, intentional to lead us, and I believe it was, to lead us to this drop, 2401, November 4th, 2018. Okay. When you can't discredit, and look what just happened with Anderson Cooper. When you can't discredit this movement using logic and facts, you resort to comparing it to art. And there's this ridiculous article by the Washington Post. This hidden history from biblical times to the days of Donald Trump began circulating among conspiracy theorists, including those who follow the right-wing underworld of QAnon websites. The map weaves words, arrows, symbols, and shapes, implying a web of connection between events, people, and organizations such as Freemasonry, the Rothschild family, George Soros, the Saudis, Nazi, UFOs, and Pizzagate. The artist who claims to have drawn the map says it is a part of the Deep State Mapping Project and has earned him respect and acclaim among people who believe everything is connected. So that is some of the discrediting. How many articles has Washington Post released attacking the Q movement? It was multiple, folks. And by the way, one of the things about this is they're attacking Q. By the way, shout out to almost 900 across the platforms of, let's see, X. We have 650 Hawks Mustard Seeds YouTube channel, Hawks Mustard Seeds 25. We have 205 beautiful people over in YouTube, and 20 on Facebook. So welcome all. And then, of course, we have, let me see what we got over on Rumble. We got almost 600 over on Rumble. So welcome one and all. Glad you joined me tonight. I'm going to try to keep this short unless Oliver comes on and sends us into another all-nighter. So why is the Washington Post dedicated to attacking this movement? Washington Post owned by Amazon, ABC's and Amazon. These are meaning the alphabet companies like, the CIA. The details about the CIA's deal with Amazon, a $600 million computing cloud built by outside company, is a radical departure for the risk-averse intelligence community. So the CIA And the DoD as well have this contract with Amazon Web Services, an outside agency, and the NSA. Okay. So they got this $600 million deal. And then Bezos turns around literally within, I believe, a couple of months and buys the Washington Post for $340 million. I think that was the number. Let me see. And it was a decade ago. My mistake. 250 million, 2013. Has taken a more active role in the paper's operations this year. Okay. That was 2013. In 2023, they're saying he took a more active role. Why? Well, because he's part of the problem and he needs to do damage control as best he can. So there you have it. If we aren't a threat or real or simply just a conspiracy theory, why the constant heavy attacks? This YouTube channel has been taken down. I forget what it was, but I think what it did was it showed all the different challenges to the Q operation by mainstream media. Information warfare, in kill brackets, IW, destroy the controlled narrative, kill brackets. Power belongs with the people. Where we go one, we go all. Parentheses, 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 Q plus, which is Trump, which is Q, and which was validated by Trump reposting this. Okay. The hat 45 to 47. Folks, if you don't think there's a bigger operation happening, okay, there's no way Donald Trump takes down the deep state on his own. He has to have help. It was far too great for any one man to do it. He is the leader. He was asked to come in and do this, and he's doing it masterfully. And he's as big a part of this operation as anybody. And the figurehead or the leader of this operation, certainly the public persona. Okay. And again, Trump reposted these. Okay. Now, one of the timestamps I'm going to take, and what I also wanted to take you to was, as you know, whenever, especially when I see an ID of 00000, I look to the blue number, especially if it's significantly just simple. And so I go to 390, post 390. And it says it is a link to an article about the Soros fund manager who beat Playboy models and is being sued for $27 million. This was back in 2017. And his name is Howie Rubin. And he would do a New York City penthouse described as a dungeon. 3 plaintiffs who were not identified claim that he beat them to the point they needed extensive medical attention. The New York Post reported, citing a lawsuit filed in federal court. Rubin said, "I'm going to rape you like I raped my daughter." He's a former Bear Stearns trader, and he yelled out to them during one of the attacks. It states that Rubin rented out the $8 million penthouse in Manhattan and paid women $2,000 to $5,000 for brutal sex sessions in a side room with ropes, change, and sex toys. Okay. And he worked for the Soros fund management. He was a major player for the Soros fund management. This is 2017. Q is asking us, are we there yet? Okay. Obviously, this was 7 years ago, so we're not quite there yet. Right. And, but look at the connection to all this. Remember the triangle is the Saudi, the House of Saud, the Rothschilds, and Soros. Okay, three sides to the triangle that the Q operation is taking out. Saudi Arabia was purse strings, was human trafficking, and was some of the content like Twitter. Prince Al Walid, which was Dopey, who was mentioned in one of the timestamps of these, was 6:22. Time to play, Dopey, Black Forest. Well, Dopey is is Prince Al Walid. Okay, Black Forest is where they hunted children and human beings. They'd let them out naked and they'd hunt them, catch them, rape them, and kill them. The Rothschilds sold their place in the Black Forest as part of the fire sale. They're back in the news as well for that kind of thing because they just closed down an operation in Chicago, one of their offices in Chicago. Now, one of the things that I wanted to take you to, well, let me see what 66 says because I forgot that if I went over that last night. Oh, yeah. 66 was in the blue. Let's be clear. You're telling us POTUS is currently under attack by our own intelligence agencies? That's an anon asking Q. Q said, let's be real clear. The CIA just attacked the command-in-chief, which was immediately detected by NSA military intelligence and alerted to POTUS. Re-review all my crumbs, including today, yesterday, weekend. What does this mean? What actions are immediately occurring? If this leaks or the immediate action ongoing at Langley, you'll have your verification ahead of schedule. Do you see the connection? Do you see the mainstream media? Do you see the connection with Bezos? Do you see the connection with the CIA and Mockingbird media? This is coming back around because they're bringing us basically up to speed on all these things that are happening. Now, one of the things that I did last night was I took us to the military timestamp, right? Because sometimes I'll do that. But what also was confirmed that no, that the military timestamp was confirmed by a SNED that reached out to me, and I'll try to find the name later. But one of the SNEDs reached out to me and said that the National Guard had two tweets, and the timestamp between the two, the time between the two posts yesterday on X was 6:22, which definitely tells me that this was a military timestamp. So 6:22, add 12 hours because it was PM, and you get 18:22. That was the time of Trump's last retruth of Spiritual Street Fighter. Psychological projection defines conspiracy, a secret plan by a group to do something unlawful or harmful, a conspiracy to destroy the government. Look at what we're experiencing. Number 2, the action of plotting or conspiring. They were cleared of conspiracy to pervert the course of justice. Fake news. Fake news collaborating and pushing knowingly false information. Fake news knowingly false narrative pushes. Number 1, POTUS colluded with Russia to win the 2016 election. Completely false. POTUS is Putin to puppet to Putin. POTUS puppet to Putin. That's a tongue twister right there. False. POTUS to irreparably harm relationships with our allies. They feared him. They respected him. We didn't need him to be best buddies with him, especially NATO and England and Europe and Kim. And remember Kim back and forth. He said, my button's bigger than yours. And Kim shut up and ended up meeting with him. POTUS will collapse U.S. economy. Look what Biden, Harris, and Bidenomics has done. And Trump called him today Kamalanomics. POTUS will collapse stock market. Look what's happened in the stock market. Cause war with North Korea. He actually, they backed down. Kim backed down. War with Iran never happened. Destroy the world. On and on. Knowingly false. Now look at all these things that Biden is doing. Fear and scare push. They would rather see North Korea peace negotiations fail, war, because that's the bad guy that we can go to war with at any moment, and then see POTUS resolve it. Scandalous media bias, conspiracy, collaboration. What are they hiding? Fake news media is not free and independent. Fake news media equals propaganda arm of the Democrat Party. Think WikiLeaks list of journalists who colluded with HRC DNC 2016 presidential election. They want you divided by race, religion, culture, class, political affiliation. Divided you are weak, together you are strong. This movement challenges their forced narrative. This movement challenges people to not simply trust what is being reported. Research for yourself, think for yourself, trust yourself. This movement is not about one person or a group of people. We the people. You are witnessing a full panic attack by the fake news media and covert alt media affiliates, foreign government. They cannot contain or defeat what they do not understand. Is any of this normal? Think sealed indictments count. By the way, today in President Trump's speech, he focused on the word indictment. It was his indictment. He didn't know what an indictment was, and he kept talking about indictment. Guess who else is going to be indicted? All of these deep state players. Think resignations of the CEOs. I mean, at the top of business, like business was booming, and CEOs were resigning left and right in record numbers. They were separating themselves from their company so they wouldn't take the company down with them, knowing the executive order 13848. Foreign interference. I'm sorry that I get these two mixed up. This is the foreign interference in the United States election. Okay, that's huge. Okay, why do we? Sorry. Okay, and but I'm thinking of 13818 and that is the blocking the property of persons involved in serious human rights abuse or corruption. This is why everybody is not wanting him to be reelected, because they all go down. Every last motherfucking one of them. Think resignations of senators, Congress, termination of senior FBI officials, Comey, McCabe, Strzok, or think termination of senior DOJ, or what do you call it? Lynch, Holder, Watergate times 1,000. That's how serious this is. This isn't just Watergate. That was the biggest scandal, presidential scandal of the 70s. This is times 1,000. Think about how amazing that's going to be. Attacks will only intensify. Logical thinking. Ask yourself a simple question: why? And my friends, Trump retruthed this yesterday. All roads lead to Obama. Retruth if you want public military tribunals. My friends, when Donald Trump ran for office back in, when was it, 2015, when he announced? I started just watching. I was paying attention, like who's against him? Who's against him? Who's against him? All the Democrats were against him, so that's a no-brainer. All of Hollywood which I've experienced and I had to move away from because of all the nonsense going on in Hollywood and LA and California. Okay. They were all against him. And I couldn't stand any of them. And then the music industry were all against him, the top, right? As a matter of fact, if you were a conservative in Hollywood, you couldn't function. There's a reason why I was directing my first movie within a year and a half of being in Hollywood, and had for the most part creative control of that project because I produced it as well. I found the money, I raised the money. That I didn't get a job after that. And it was picked up by HBO, which was huge back then. And it was the only one that was picking up movies like that. Now you've got Amazon and Netflix and Apple TV and Disney and, you know, all these streaming services. But HBO was the only one. If you didn't go theatrical, HBO was the next step. And that was a big step. And most of the time, more people saw it on HBO than they would have ever seen it in the theater. So all of these industries were against Trump that I didn't respect. Then the Republicans that I no longer respected were against him. The former presidents, the Bushes, the excuse me, the Clintons, all of them were against him. I'm like, okay, this is my guy. They're afraid of him. They're afraid of this guy. Okay. So, and I also thought, here's a guy that puts his name on everything. If he doesn't come in and do a kick-ass job and doesn't do what he said he's going to do, which is most politicians do not do what they say they're going to do, right? If he doesn't do that, the Trump name is going to be mud. His Trump Tower will be like Cabrini Greens. His Trump hotels are going to be like, Motel 6s. His restaurants, his golf courses are going to be like public golf courses. Nobody's going to go to them because he did a shit job. So I was saying to friends, his ego alone is reason enough for me to vote for him, because he's going to make sure that he honors the Trump name. It would be different if we didn't know which restaurant and which hotel and which casino was his, but we did. We knew it all. We knew the Trump Tower in Vegas. We knew the Taj Mahal in Atlantic City. We knew his properties. His name would have been mud if he didn't perform. And I still believe that. And I'll take it to the next level. He's been communicating to really, really smart people with all of these drops that tell us, that have confirmed to all the Anons that he is Q plus and that he is a part of this operation that Q has told us about. If he doesn't follow through and the Q operation doesn't take out the deep state and do the military tribunals, the Trump name will be synonymous with the loser. Because all the Anons out there, all the people that got on board Q, all the people that got on board MAGA, if he doesn't perform, he won't have a future, and it will be he that won't be able to walk down the street. That's the situation, right? Like, we're not going to put up with this shit. Look at what happened to, what's his name? The Speaker of the House, McCarthy. He was like the top Republican and everybody wanted him in. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people wanted him in because they thought he'd do a great job. Boom, he's out of there. Why? Because he fucking lied to us. These people are not going to be able to lie to us and get away with it any longer. We're not putting up with this shit. We're not putting up with this shit about all the new DISEASE that they're going to try to lock down and take care of the election. We're not falling for that shit again. Most of us didn't fall for it the first time. He will be accountable to all the Anons and all of MAGA, and he knows that. His family knows that. The Trump name rides upon that. He can either go down in history as the leader of a team that took out the deep state and created freedom in this world unlike anything we've ever witnessed before in human history, or he can never be able to walk down the street again. And nobody will go to his restaurants and his hotels and his casinos and his golf courses. Do you see that? Like, this isn't a threat. This is a reality. And that's why I think he's going to do a phenomenal job. And that's why I think he's going to follow through with that, because he's very smart and he knows this. This isn't like pulling the wool over the eyes of the sheep. That's easy. They've been doing that for a very long time. But more people are awake in human history than ever before. Ever before. It's not even close. So that's what I go to all the time. That's why I feel so confident about what I'm doing here and sharing with you. Like, folks, listen, if Trump turns out to be a bad guy and Q never comes to fruition, do you think I'm going to have any credibility? I put my name out there. I'm not some, anon with no face and no name. And, I've had my name out there from the word go, and it has not been beneficial to me. It has been extremely detrimental to my relationships, to the, situations with coaching, with schools, with, it's not a pretty place to be. Okay. Imagine if all the things I've been telling you don't come to fruition, I'm going to look like a fucking asshole. And a lot of people thought I was, because it hadn't happened yet. So they stopped listening, years ago, because they lost faith. They lost faith in this operation because it wasn't happening fast enough for their ego or their expectation. And I don't fault them. I don't. It's like, and people have come back and they've said, wow, you really were right about Q all along. I think I am. I think because I've just seen too many coincidences that are mathematically impossible. Way, way, way too many. And so this is why I share it with you. And I share it with you because, to me, it makes me feel very, very hopeful. Okay? Very hopeful for the future. Folks, if you'd like to, many of you were asking me for this, if you'd like to send me something or support in to my home here. It's actually a P.O. box, but this is the number if it's a package, but you can also use P.O. Box 1554, Dripping Springs, Texas with this. You don't have to do all that unless it's a package. So it's either the P.O. Box 1554, Dripping Springs 78620, or it's the full address if it's bigger than an envelope, or if it's being sent FedEx or UPS. All right. Also, if you'd like to support my work, you may do so here. It is much needed, much appreciated. So this is what I do is not free, but I offer it to you for free because this is information that must be seen by the population. And I did not want to make it any harder for people to get this kind of information. It was already hard enough. Very hard, very hard. So you may do that, and I appreciate your support. And I also need to get up some of the names who have supported me, and I will do that tomorrow night for all those who donated this week. Much, much thanks. So if you'd like to be on the show list tomorrow night for patrons, you may do so by dropping a donation. Again, folks, $1, $2, $5, whatever you're capable of doing. And if you are really, really hurting and you need every single dollar that you have, I do not want you to donate. Somebody else will pick up the slack for you until you can have an opportunity to support me yourself. Okay. My friends, this is, I want to share this with you. Brilliant expose by Dr. Simon Godek. Brilliant expose of these propagandist brothers, Ed and Brian Krasenstein. Great job, Simon. These two brothers are paid propagandists. In their own words, they have been paid. And I recommend that you dig into this. I'm going to go through it a little bit with you. Let me do this. Let me pull that up on. And thanks for Derek Martin for that. The Anderson Cooper. I'm reposting that now, folks. I'm at DaveSnedeker on X. If you're if you're not on X, I recommend you get yourself over to X. It's easy to figure out. It's a small, short learning curve, and I will tell you that you will be glad you did because you're getting information that has not, for the most part, been censored. Okay. Let's see. Let me get to this post here. Here it is. Okay, I gotta come over to this screen because it's here we go. Now the Krasensteins, they were the ones when Twitter was pretty much controlled by the left and by the FBI and CIA. As we've seen from the Twitter files that were released. These guys were always the first to post after Trump would post, and they would always discredit him, and they are paid propagandists. This expose has uncovered that they own humiliatedschoolgirls.com. And Ed has actually said there are plenty of fathers who have been in the same shower as their young daughters. Virtually all pediatricians and child psychologists supported up until a certain age. It was a little creepy with Haley and her father. This was in defense of that. And yet they have these porn websites. This is a buying Twitter accounts with over 40,000 followers. I'm looking for English-speaking Twitter accounts with at least 40,000 real followers. Can use up to 10 such accounts. I can tell you for a fact, and this is what I was talking about last night when we were being very critical of Mike Gill and Michelle Moore, that she does buy accounts, and I know that from OG Snedheads that have been offered money for their accounts. And that is how she is growing. And she's also using Gill's false narratives to gain more followers. because most people aren't dialed into Q, because if they were dialed into Q, they knew they wouldn't need anything that he has to offer. So, Brian Krasenstein, once again, I call on the media to get information from Twitter about our ban. Once again, we never bought or sold any accounts, retweets, or likes. I call on Twitter to make public any information they have to counter the statement. Well, it just so happens that Dr. Simon is, he did do his research, and he found that they're full of shit. They threatened him with a cease and desist. He went ahead with this anyway. Blackmailing Betty. This was Becky, we need more than that. The DNC is in trouble. You need us. Call me tomorrow if you still want us around. Otherwise, the secrets come out. He's basically, this was what seemed to be a message that he accidentally tweeted. And then he plays it off in the following manner. Let me play this.
Brian Krookenstein. On December 12, 2022, Twitter user Brian Krasenstein published a tweet that seemed intended to blackmail an individual named Becky. The tweet stated, "Becky, we need more than this. The DNC is in trouble. You need us. Call me tomorrow if you still want us around. Otherwise, the secrets come out." Brian quickly deleted the tweet after posting it. When confronted with a screenshot capturing this deleted tweet, Brian Krasenstein suggested that the image was fabricated. However, I was able to obtain irrefutable evidence that confirmed the authenticity of the Becky tweet, a development that placed him in a delicate situation. In the wake of these events, Brian Krasenstein doubled down and released a video admitting that he wrote that tweet and that it was part of a bigger plan. He asserted that he had sent an email to himself 2 minutes before posting the controversial Becky tweet. As per the email, his sole aim was to demonstrate how quickly conspiracy theories spread on Twitter by sending out this specific tweet.
So, what actually originated as a plan to bait conspiracy theorists 5 months ago, way back in December, it finally caught a fish. Originally, I made the tweet I did because I wanted to do a story about how quickly misinformation spreads on Twitter and in other social media platforms in general.
You're a bad liar, Brian.
So what I did was I typed up this tweet on Twitter and because I wanted to. It finally caught a fish. Originally, so what I did was I typed up this tweet about Becky. I hit the send button, waited about 20 seconds, and then I deleted it. Of course, though, I made sure to prove that it was not real, as you can see in this video right here.
Brian then presents his email. However, what we notice is that Brian doesn't display the entire screen. This is because the actual time and date of the email would be revealed on the right side of the screen. Before we proceed, I've also set up a Gmail account to mimic Brian's account. This is to demonstrate just how simple it is to manipulate the date and time parameters in the pop-down that Brian clicked on, thus displaying an alternate date. Additionally, identical mouse movements seen in the reused footage within the same video suggest extensive editing, not a live demonstration, thus casting doubt on the authenticity of his claims. Now, let's hone in on a key oversight by Brian Krasenstein in fabricating this email. Brian blunders while presenting the header, mistakenly pasting the HTML code instead of the plain text, thereby further revealing his manipulation attempts. Big fail, Brian. So, who is Becky? It's probable that the Becky Brian Krasenstein allegedly tried to blackmail is Rebecca Santos Hall, considering her DNC affiliation. The unresolved mystery is the nature of the secrets Brian threatened to reveal. And what does Brian, the manipulator and wire fraudster, have to say about Becky? I know one Becky that I can think of. She is a relative and has nothing to do with the DNC. I also don't know any secrets. The questions we must ask are, why did Brian Krassenstein try to blackmail Becky? And could this be one of his employer's objective to wield political influence through blackmail? These are questions that Brian will not answer, but will attempt to deflect with deceptive tactics and ad hominem attacks. What remains clear is that Brian
So, my friends, this is hold on one second here. This is the reason why I'm doing this. The reason why this is so important is that this is as significant. These two are as significant, if not more so, as somebody like an Anderson Cooper, because their reach is very great. And so I highly recommend you go to my page and you go to Dr. Simon Godek and you track down, and I'll show you some of the rest of this. But this is why I'm sharing this, because this is pure propagandist. This is paid propagandist, and the same thing is happening. So let me scroll down on this. They had a Ponzi scheme, the victims of the Ponzi scheme, the current malicious ventures that they're doing now. These sites are hosted on platforms known to be malicious, and their IP addresses are flagged with the threat community. Teen porn domains, the humiliated schoolgirls I mentioned, the teenpies.com. Okay. Let's see. This is the, excuse me. Yeah. We own some of the largest internet forums related. They ran porn sites, right? So, excuse me. And they're trying to say that Trump is an old sexual predator and fraudster, and one day you'll have to tell your grandkids which one you voted for. Well, yeah. This is their, predators and fraudsters. So this is why this is so important. Domain stealing that they've done, making money with Facebook, their third Facebook group. They claimed they were going to give away. They're going to empty their bank accounts if they reached a ridiculous number, and they ended up, giving everybody, $1 or something. It's $2,400 is all they emptied out. Meanwhile, they're making big money. This is them buying accounts, etc. So now, has anybody else? So this is why this is so important. Okay. And so I'm really grateful to people that are pointing out the frauds and the propagandists, because I don't know about you guys, but in my feed, I'm seeing more and more accounts that I don't follow, but that are pro Kamala. And I know they're paid, they're buying their way into my feed, which is, very disturbing, because I don't want to see that stuff. All right. So at any rate, this is let me see. I wanted to do the highlights from last night. I wanted to get into, let me see. And I want to keep this fairly short. We saw, by the way, one of the things that that we were led to as well was Huma, and follow Huma, and how hold on one second, I'm sorry. One of the timestamps, I believe, of the of this one, the timestamps of All Roads Lead to Obama, that was retruthed. Okay. I believe possibly two of these were the same timestamp, which was 619, and 619 was note the last drops on the other board, think logically, refer to past crumbs, you have more than you know. Do you expect HRC, GS, George Soros, we were just there, Hussein, etc., to stand in a public courtroom with potential crooked judges and tainted liberal juries? How do you defuse a bomb? Knowledge of which wires, strings to cut. Okay. This is why this is so important, is because the original timestamp wasn't 619. 619 was the one that Trump retruthed at that time. Okay. That's why that's so significant. And the other one that was the timestamp was 620. And 620, it was somebody in England and Britain who was asking, what, are we going to be taken care of too? Because we're a mess over here. The moment that 100% solidified my mind that DJT was legit was at the New York dinner where he and Hillary had to make a speech in front of the elite. I remember Mr. Trump insulting them to their face. The look on their faces was something I will never forget. He has had the MSM attacking him 24/7 and still stands strong. Immigration is down. Black unemployment is down. Hispanic too. And let's not forget how the value of the U.S. dollar value skyrocketing. I think that President Trump is the greatest person to have walked this earth, and so are persons like Q who have been working in the shadows for the good of all. Godspeed, everyone. Godspeed. On a side note, any chance after USA has been uncorrupt, can you maybe sort out the UK? We are hurting bigly. May is neutralized. Okay, that's Prime Minister May. MI6 and SIS undergoing house cleaning. Queen monarchs seeking shelter. Patience. These people are stupid. My friends, this was back in 2018. Look at what has happened with the royalty since that time. I mean, it's uncanny, folks. It's like, how did they know? How did they know? Well, they knew because somehow they have gone into the looking glass and they have seen the future. They have seen the future. And they shared that with us. And they are doing all the things they can to disassemble this deep state, which has enslaved humanity for generations. For generations. Okay. Yeah. Let me ask you, if you, here's what I want to share. This is one of my reposts. And folks, if you have any questions, please put them in the comments and I will address. Let me share this with you. I'm sorry, I need to go back to my thread. Here we go. And here we go. So you guys have seen what's going on with Colorado, right? Let me share that with you with a short video that Johnny Midnight reposted. Let me take you to that. And
this video.
And while you put any questions down, I'll
needs to go viral immediately. What's going on in Colorado, especially in Denver and Aurora, and all across the United States with this migrant crisis needs so much more attention on it, especially with the gang Trinity-Aragua. Especially considering that allegedly a Trinity-Aragua leader gave the green light quotations to its members to shoot police officers in Denver, Colorado alone. I mean, allegedly Aurora alone has become a base of operations for that gang, which has seized multiple apartment complexes and set off a wave of violent crime. And supposedly Denver leads the nation in new migrant arrivals, with more than 40,000 arriving from the southern border since December of 2022. And reportedly, the city has bent over backwards to provide aid, even slashing emergency services to help foot the cost, so far estimated at over $68 million and counting. One local gang member allegedly decided to set up shop in town as well. And within months of arriving in the U.S., cops supposedly said that he and fellow gang members brutally beat a man at Aurora apartment complex that the gang took over and occupied. And this is the interesting thing that seems to be a trend. In July, cops arrested him again, this time for shooting at the same complex that left 2 men also wounded. And members of Trinity-Aragua are accused of a slew of violent crimes across the United States, including murdering Georgia nursing student Laken Riley earlier this year and shooting of 2 NYPD cops during an arrest in June. And supposedly when this gang leader crossed the southern border in 2022 into Texas, he was vetted by federal border authorities who didn't see anything concerning about his past and then released. He told Border Patrol agents he was going to New York, but ended up at an ICE office in Colorado in June of 2023 when he was given a court date and again was cut loose. And then soon after, allegedly, he started unleashing havoc on the community again. Let's keep in mind, this comes after allegedly the Democratic Party's 2024 platform endorses a bill that would create a pathway for illegal immigrants to become, in quotations, lawful prospective immigrants who would be issued IDs and social security numbers and be able to vote and join the U.S. military. But not just that, the bill would also allow people already deported under the Trump administration, but not the Obama administration, to come back by applying for the new legalized status if they had lived in the United States for at least 3 years. You know, that's really interesting that they mentioned social security numbers, because apparently every single American social security number was just leaked. But nobody wants to blame Kamala Harris? I'm confused. But supposedly the Aurora Police Department announced Monday that it's joining forces with the Colorado State Patrol and Colorado Bureau of Investigation to create a special task force to address the city's concerns about the Venezuelan gang Trinity-Aragua, especially because a federal grand jury in the District of Colorado indicted 4 Venezuelan nationals linked to the gang on Wednesday for their role in the armed robbery of a family-owned jewelry store in Denver in June. And then you have that allegedly they have deep ties with Venezuela's socialist regime, and that it's expanded its presence and criminal activities across several U.S. cities in recent years as more of its members continue to enter the United States. U.S. authorities have reportedly confirmed the gang's presence in Miami, New York, Chicago, and Atlanta. And police officials from Dallas, Texas announced this week alone that criminal activities linked to the gang have been detected in the northern area of the city as well. So they are being reported to have territory all across the United States. Not that I have a political stance, but people are still somehow going to find a reason to blame Trump, as if his administration didn't propose building a border wall. But it gets worse. Trinity-Aragua's growing list of criminal activities in the United States range from violent cell phone robbery schemes in New York to a now dismantled sex trafficking network in Louisiana that reportedly smuggled its victims to the United States after teaching them how to request asylum at the U.S. southern border. And allegedly, the gang members forced the victims into prostitution to pay for the debt accrued for smuggling them into the United States. Kamala Harris was the border czar for 3.5 years. And what did she do? It's so confusing to say that you're pledging to protect women's rights, but then you allow these gangs to come into the United States, putting women in danger. It doesn't make any sense. And then you have shit like this. Allegedly, that gang leader that I just told you about had been ordered deported by an immigration judge last week. But because he's from Venezuela, a country that doesn't accept deportations from the U.S., he is likely here to stay. And supposedly, Trinity-Aragua has been sneaking members into the U.S. via the southern border for years. And that it's also reportedly started recruiting within the U.S. among migrant communities, mainly in New York, Denver, and Chicago as well. And ironically, if you just so happen to look at every single individual that crossed over the border since last year, a majority of them look like military-age men. And Kamala Harris doesn't seem to be mentioning this at all. But then again, why would she, right?
Why would she? Exactly. Because they need the votes. They cannot, they're actually downplaying the the border situation and even not even taking any responsibility whatsoever. Thank you to my patrons, Morgan Conklin, DGM Unlimited, Deborah Pascali, Chris Rotundo, Diana Lisi, Kelly Land, Julie Fackler, Patricia Jacobs. Your support, my friends, is very much appreciated. Folks, if you would like to support my work, you may do so. And it is very, very, very much appreciated. This what's happening in Colorado is just, it's coming to a town near you, and it's, I don't know when we're going to wake up to this, but this is also what is something that has happened very recently, and I'll play that for you as well. And that is this. Here we go.
The superintendent's group of migrants tried to board a school bus this morning while it was traveling to a school. The superintendent for the Humul del Zura Union School District informed parents of that incident earlier today. It happened at one of the stops on the school district's bus route that heads to Oak Grove Middle School and Humul Primary. Meanwhile, yesterday afternoon, in a similar area along another route, the superintendent says that a group of migrants tried to stop another bus. Border Patrol, CHP, and the Sheriff's Office have now been informed of these incidents. The superintendent says that for the safety of everyone, if a driver sees a group of migrants at a bus stop, they will drive past it and move on to the next. A group of migrants tried to board a school bus this morning while it was traveling to a school. The superintendent for the Humul del Zura Union School District informed parents of that incident earlier today. It happened at one of the stops on the school district's bus route that heads to Oak Grove Middle School and Humul Primary. Meanwhile, yesterday afternoon, in a similar area along another route, the superintendent says that a group of migrants tried to stop another bus. Border Patrol, CHP, and the Sheriff's Office have now been informed of these incidents. The superintendent says that for the safety of everyone, if a driver sees a group of migrants at a bus stop, they will drive past it and move on to the next.
Yeah, they're going to just drive on by and leave the children, to fend for themselves, I guess. But I guess what else do you do? So I wanted to show you this this following post as well, and this has to do with Zuckerberg and what he revealed the other day was huge, and I haven't spoken on that since then. So happy to do it now. But basically, hold on, sorry about that. That's better. The White House pressured Meta to illegally censor factual information about CV and Hunter. Even bigger, the person responsible for this was the former director of digital strategy, Rob Flaherty. This is Rob Flaherty. He is now the deputy campaign manager for Kamala Harris. He's been with Hillary Clinton at the White House. And these are the people that are the propagandists. And this was an actual letter, an email from him to somebody at Facebook. And since we've been on the phone, the top post about jabs today, because we're on Facebook right now, so we got to be careful, and we're on YouTube, saying that it was Tucker Carlson saying they don't work. Yesterday was Tommy Lahren saying she won't take one. This is exactly why I want to know what reduction actually looks like. If reduction means pumping our most jab hesitant audience with Tucker Carlson saying it doesn't work, then I'm not sure it's reduction. Rob Flaherty, director of digital strategy, the White House. Okay. This was in 2021. You remember who was there in 2021, right? One of them is missing in action, and the other is running for president. And then this is them back to Rob. Thanks. I saw the same thing when we hung up, running this down now. So basically, Facebook was being admonished for not doing a strong enough job. And then the response was, okay, sorry, we're running it down now. We're working on it, right? How absolutely freaking ridiculous is that? That's what we're up against, my friends. That's what I've been up against for, the 5.5 years I've been doing this. And man, yeah. So, yeah. So let me get to your comments, and I do want to actually show a few comments on X that some of you have commented. Roy Diamond, what's up, Dave? Awesome reveal last night. What a time to be alive, Roy. Wow, isn't that awesome? I mean, we really are seeing history unfold. We're a part of history right now. Let's see. Deanne Whirl, hey Sned, great to see you. Great show last night with Script Keeper. Listen today. Welcome to Pennsylvania. I'm waiting for this. So just a few of your comments there. Robert Liberte, retruthing or posting. Thank you, Robert, as always. Yeah. So let me get to any questions you have. They're kind of small here. Okay, let me fix this. And stop screen. Okay. Let me see. Let me see. Get to some of them. Did that stop? Why did that stop? Okay. All right. Okay. This is great. This is a great question. Bastard in KUNT. That's nice. What's currently stopping Trump from acknowledging the firmament flat Earth to the world? The same reason that he hasn't come out with, and this is my opinion, by the way. I can't speak for him, obviously, but my educated opinion is that he had to denounce Q. Like, he couldn't come out and they were trying to get him with that gotcha, with that Q, right? And look what Anderson Cooper did today, trying to discredit him, for, associating with Q and retruthing things that were about Q. And so that would discredit him. And he needs to be, credible. And there's a lot of people that are still not awake to the firmament and the flat Earth. And that has, I believe, the reason why he keeps it secret until it's time to reveal. Remember, we still don't have all the JFK files. We still don't know about 9/11. And I'm talking about from his perspective as a president, as a commander in chief, as the releasing this information that the government holds, the technologies that have been suppressed, et cetera, et cetera. I do believe that all that is going to come out when he retains the public presidency. So I do believe we're going to see that. But it's going to come out. Like, look how slowly all this stuff has come out. It's got to come out drip, drip, drip. Otherwise, it's too much for people to be able to handle, I believe, anyway. Okay. Dave, there's a YouTube channel, Clay, called Guardians of the Looking Glass. They put their first video up in a year, a couple of days ago, and took 3 down. Do you know about that one? I don't. Guardians of the Looking Glass. I'll check that out, Clay. Thank you. If they're on YouTube, I don't know what they're going to be able to get away with, but I tell you, I've, lost, I think 10 accounts on YouTube. Let me see. Okay. Let's see. This is Jen. Gee, why do I feel we're slip sliding away? So much info that's like a puzzle with a bazillion pieces that aren't fitting. I hate feeling still confused with little clarity. God is only hope. Well, Jan, there's more than God as our only hope, I believe. It's Q and the Q team and the Q operation. And I believe it's very much bigger than most of us realize. And there's much being done that we don't see. Q has said 80% we don't see. We only see 20% of what's being done. There's so much that has to happen in order for certain things to line up. And I think that's why this has taken longer than we thought. But remember, folks, God has been around for a long time. God has been here through this entire, operation. Jesus has been here through this entire operation of humanity being enslaved, these children being sacrificed, adrenochrome, all these horrible, horrible, horrible things have been here, and God has been here, and Jesus has been here, and whatever religion you're at, your religion has been here. I don't believe religion is the way forward, honestly. I think that I think religion, I mean, the Crusades, the Muslims, the Christians, the Jews, they've been fighting. We all believe in God. But once we get to the prophets, that's when everybody starts fighting against one another. And that has been since the beginning of time. And that has been a creation so that we are divided in those ways. That Q drop we just saw tonight spoke to that. So we have to do this. This is man has to do this. And certainly Q has many quotes, biblical quotes of God and of Jesus, and saying that this is going to be biblical, but it takes man inspired by godliness, in my opinion, to make this happen. So I hope that helps. Let's see. No, Jasper didn't have to go. His door is open. He can go out anytime he wants. So I don't have to let him out. Let me see. Why does it repeat everything twice? Roland, I don't know which you're talking about. I'm sorry. Why does it repeat everything? If you would re-ask that. Let's see. I might be way behind. Beach Lady, I'm so thankful my children are grown. I homeschooled my younger child and they graduated from college last year. Congratulations. Yeah, having a child in school is very interesting topic at these days. Not easy. Let's see. Yeah, I agree. Zucker should be arrested in the election in 2020 and 2022 should be overturned without question. And honestly, I think it's going to happen. Publicly. But like Shay says, 45 to 47, folks, if you're getting, thousands of hats made up, okay, you're going to know the difference between 45, 47 and 45-47. It's going to come out. We're going to see that there's been an element in control the whole time. Yeah, Kamala's ineligible to be president. She's running. What a joke. I think that's going to come out too. And I think that's one way they may get rid of her because they come out and they say that's not possible, but it might have to come from the white hats. Let me see. Dixie Doodle, we love you, Dave. I love you too, Dixie. How you doing? I hope that hubby of yours and that friend of ours are all doing well. Down there in Texas, we gotta get together. Let me see. Dave, what was the pilot's name? The plane that crashed at the Rothschilds' estate? That was the one in, I believe, in England, and it was a helicopter. And it was Mike Green. Tributes paid to helicopter pilot among 4 men killed in midair collision with plane. Distinguished career, Captain Mike Green was involved in collision near Waddesdon, Buckinghamshire on Friday. Let's see, and that's the only name they give, I believe. Yeah. He was conducting a flight instructor course and was with a student at the time of the incident. Both pilots lost their lives. There was something definitely sketchy going on there at the Rothschild estate. And we don't know what, but that's one of the things we'll find out later. Let me see. When people's money is cut off, they will wake up overnight. Yeah, I agree. Old Ironside. Yeah, it's got to be in their lap. It's got to be squarely in their lap. 830 over on Rumble, 1,200. We just went over 2,000 beautiful humans in the Sned Shed tonight. So welcome one and all. Melissa Little, I've told my family, friends, it's a great time to be alive. They think I'm crazy. I said I've been chosen for this time. I'm trying to wake them up still 9 years. I just want to add a little bit to that. Thank you for that, Melissa. And good for you for continuing to try and have those conversations, those difficult conversations. We will be vindicated, but also just live a beautiful life and loving life, and almost don't even, I think at this point, not even talk about it. Just live a beautiful life, and you're fabulous. And if somebody asks you questions, almost say, listen, you're not going to listen anyway, so I don't want to get into it. But Trump's going to win, and you're going to see, and and just kind of go that way. I do believe that's going to be the case, and people will wake up when they wake up. Pat Evans, many don't believe in flat Earth. Exactly. Let me see. Trump asked what he thought of Q, and Trump replied, "You would be surprised." They actually said, "Who is Q?" And he said, "You would be surprised." And that's when I thought he had a tint, Marta, of pride, and that's kind of reaffirmed that I believe that Barron's a part of this. Yeah, not the right time for sure. Big good, I agree. With the flat Earth, I think is what you're talking about. Yeah, no, she's not able to run for president, but neither was Obama. Let's see. I don't believe flat Earth, but I do believe it's much bigger than they say. Roland, I would recommend 200 Reasons the Earth is Not a Spinning Ball. I'm sorry, 200 Proofs on YouTube. 200 Proofs the Earth is not a spinning ball. I tried to debunk this for 10 months, my friend, and I tell you, it's legit and biblical. They spoke of the dome and the firmament in different Bibles. Let's see. I didn't see that picture. Dave, did you notice a picture of Joe and Jill on the beach, and Jill's chair had 45 on the back? That's hilarious. That's funny. Yeah, cool. Good. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's flat. Yep. My sister told me that I should be put into an institution because I believe in the flat Earth and firmament. Deanna. Yeah, sorry to hear that, but we'll be vindicated. So let's see. Karina, this isn't stupid flat Earth junk, Karina. Guys, you got to do your research. We've been lied to about everything. This is one of them. NASA means to deceive in Hebrew, and I'm telling you, I'm not going to get into it tonight, and I'm not going to convince you tonight. All I could say is I am a deep researcher. You've seen my work. You've seen what I do. I tried to debunk it for 10 months. And I didn't share it with my audience for well over a year, if not more, longer than that, because I didn't think it was pertinent to what they needed to know. I didn't want to distract them, because what they were finding out was big enough that they couldn't handle that. A lot of people can't handle this whole shift. And by the way, you my friends, you're in good company. If you don't believe in flat Earth, you're in good company. I have a friend that has been awake longer than I that still doesn't believe in it, and I'm trying to get him to cross into like a little bit more research, and I have a great deal of respect for him as well. But when it comes to this, I studied, I've looked into it for 10 months initially, and years since then. He's been looking at it for 2 weeks. I'm not going to convince you tonight. I would ask you to check your coat and challenge everything you've been told. This time has been prophesized in the Bible. Many similarities, many connections, many predictions. Yeah, Trump never conceded the election. That's why I don't think we're going to have another one. Let's see. He was the last president, 45, and I believe 46 as well. Let's see. Yeah, the current Ingersoll Lockwood song says 45 through 47, Renz. Exactly. Christy, good to see you. Caught alive 2 nights in a row. Yay. How are you, dear? Good to see you. We've been on for over 2 hours. I'm going to wrap it up here, friends, right after the Q&A. Let's see. Spallinger said, I used to say I'm glad my children are grown. Now my 10 grandchildren are starting school. Yeah, that's tough, but they're gonna have a great future. They're gonna have a great future. Let me see. You're welcome, Deanna. Let's see. Yeah, well, I mean, you're a little bit farther south than me, aren't you? Aren't you farther south than me? Or are you, which way are you? I can't remember. Yeah. Let's see. Clay, David's very cryptic what they say on that video. They make some pretty bold claims in the new video. I'd like to know what you think about it. I think I pulled them up. And I'm not finding Guardians of the Looking Glass. I'm seeing Looking Glass. So if you can, maybe send me a link, if you wouldn't mind, to the indoctrination at Proton Mail, please. Let's see, Austin. Yeah, to the California of Texas, Austin. But I'm in Dripping Springs, Dixie, so that's very conservative. Do I still promote Shield MZ Zeolite? You know, I've got it's called a Vini. It's a really, it's a good one, Auntie. I'll try to get that for you. That link. I don't have those links set up, but I'm in the process of doing that. So I will get that to you, because I'm doing this Avini has this brain vitamin and also heart vitamin, and they're fantastic. And so I recommend them. And also the detox, the heavy metal detox. Let's see. Let's see. Marta, I watched a video of British investigators that went into the well-renowned Bruce Manor estate filmed in Batman, ex-Rothschild mansion, totally empty. How long ago was that, Marta? Do you know? Let's see. Okay. Yeah, the every culture on Earth believed it was flat long before the idea of the globe came around. And folks, they've been navigating by the stars for thousands of years, and the stars have not moved. And supposedly we're hurtling through space. Here's my take on the flat Earth, real quick, on why they've lied to us. One, our sight, our hearing, and our feeling, our touch. Nothing that we look at tells us that we're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour or hurtling through space. Not the change in the stars, not the seeing things spinning, not space. Nothing shows. So our eyes deceive us because our eyes don't see that, but we're told that that's what's happening. We don't hear anything. We should hear this vast movement of this amazing. I mean, think about how big the Earth is, 25,000 miles in circumference. Okay. Spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. Folks, think about what it's like when you're on a bike and the wind's blowing in your hair, and then on a motorcycle going really fast, or going fast in a car, and the feeling you get sticking your hand or your head out the window. And it's like, and then it's turning and you're trying to cling on, you're trying to hold on, and the centripetal motion is pushing you off. Think about a merry-go-round, thinking about, those things that spin around, and you're only going a few, 1-2 miles an hour, and spinning like that, and the water is still contained. Think about this. This is like major stuff. So our hearing doesn't hear anything of spinning. And our feel, nobody in this chat can say they feel the movement of the Earth. Not one. And so here's what I'm going to say to you. If they take away your instinct, your gut instinct about where we are, in those 3 out of 5 senses, they can convince you of anything. And they have. And the other thing that's very important, you put a dog in a cage, what's it try to do? Get out. You put an animal in a zoo, what's it try to do? Get out. You put an animal in a nature preserve, they go about their life because they don't know there's a fence. They don't know there's an exit. They don't know there's anything on the other side. If humans knew that Antarctica, which is the ice wall surrounding, holding in all the water, all the flat water, by the way, go out to the ocean, look, it's completely flat across the horizon, period, end of story, completely flat. The ships don't go slowly over. There's a lot to it, but I'm not going to get into that. The reason I'm saying this is because the Antarctica, there's an exit door, and there's something on the other side. And Richard Byrd, Admiral Richard Byrd, who was one of the greatest explorers of the 20th century, said he flew 3,000 miles south of McMurdo Air Force Base, McMurdo Antarctic Base, and saw a continent that he'd never seen before, that was undiscovered, and was the size of the United States. Something's going on with Antarctica, folks. And the last reason that they've lied to us about this, and the most important, is because they're trying to separate us from our Creator. You were an accident that happened billions of years ago, an explosion in the middle of space, and you just happened to exist because of that explosion. Wow, what a mind fuck. They bring in Darwin, Illuminati, Pawn, Just like they brought in Carl Sagan, Illuminati pawn, and Gene Roddenberry with the Star Trek series, and Neil deGrasse Tyson, and Bill Nye the Science Guy, and all these cons that are paid to lie to us, just like the Krasensteins, and just like, you know, the politicians and the pundits and the, you know, Mockingbird media. You ask anybody that was given up for birth, not wanted, or was an accident at birth, how they're doing, and they will have that issue the rest of their life, that they were unwanted, or they were an accident, or they were not special. The people that rule us have tried to convince us that we are not special, that we are a speck in a galaxy in the middle of a vast, vast, infinite universe, and that we were here by accident, and that our great, 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 great grandparents were monkeys eating bananas. That's the story they want you to believe, and they want to take us away from the divinity, from the beautiful, beautiful feeling of not only were we created by a sentient being or beings, but everything around us in nature was created by these beings as well. Let us create man in our image, right? Genesis. The firmament, the stars are fixed in the firmament. This is all Genesis. This is all the Ayurvedic texts, all the ancient texts speak to this. That the sun and the moon are revolving inside the firmament, in the ether, that Tesla tapped into for electricity, and all the ancient Tartaria and all the pyramids, they tapped into the ether for electricity. There was no soot in any of the pyramids, meaning they never took torches into those dark, dark tunnels and rooms. They had electricity. They had natural light. Somehow that got into there. No soot in any of the pyramids. All these things that it's gonna blow your mind, but I guarantee you it's worth the journey, even if you just use it as a thought experiment. Use it as a thought experiment. The Book of Enoch says the earth is a sphere with a firmament, and it is round. It's a spherical like this. They used the word circle when globe was a word. Two-dimensional circle, three-dimensional globe, they used the term circle, and the firmament. The Vatican Bible says dome, actually calls it a dome. Folks, there's so much you need to look into. We all need to look into it. Let me see. Let's see. Renz, thank you for that. 200 proofs the earth is not a spinning ball. Click here to watch after Dave's show. Please do that, folks. I promise you, you'll love it. Eric Dubay was part of my awakening, along with Rothbottom, who did work at the turn of the 18th and the 1900s, and he did canals, and all the canals are flat and straight. Canals cannot go uphill, folks. And if the earth was round, the canals would have to go uphill. And he did many, many studies of that. And there are 5 scientific experiments that prove that we are not on a spinning ball as well. Once you look into it, you can't even consider it being a ball spinning. Folks, don't just please just don't take my word for it. Look at all these great awake human beings here in the chat that many have been following me for many, many years. But I guarantee you, everything I teach, every step of the way, is think for yourself. Even when people were like, hey, we're calling ourselves Snedheads. And I'm like, listen, that feels a little weird, but if Snedhead means that you think for yourself, I'm down with that. Yeah, and it's in the Bible without question. Bollinger said also about if the center of the earth is hot, why is water coming out of the well so cold? Yeah, exactly. It's very, very cold down there. The aquifers are very, very cold. And if you live underground, it's much cooler there as well. Yeah, I knew Gouda, I knew I said that wrong. Robotham. Robotham is his name. Samuel, I think. Samuel Robotham. So you guys can look that up as well and see his work. The what is it? The Morley, the Michelson-Morley experiment that they did to try to prove that the Earth was spinning, actually proved that it wasn't spinning at all. The Michelson-Morley thing. Cool, Marta. Thank you for sending that to me. Clayton, I see that you sent that to me, the Guardians of the Looking Glass. Thank you, brother, for that. I appreciate that. Kathleen, good to see you. Nice to chat with you the other day. We are grateful for you. Thank you so much. Yeah, the Genesis Bible, I think, says dome too, doesn't it, Katse? Yeah, we're like the people living in a snow globe, without question. Hunter Sabo, you woke us all up, Dave. Thank you, brother. I'm proud to hear that. Thank you. And the sun and the stars are closer to the earth and not in space. But I'm not sure about other parts. With Spollinger, you'll go deeper. You'll know that the sun and the moon. Here's another example, folks. When the moon is out, especially if it's a full moon, go outside and go from the shade of the moon to in the light of the moon, and you'll notice the light of the moon, you are cooler than you were in the shade of the moon. If that was reflecting light from the sun, that wouldn't be the case at all, because the sun the light would warm you. Karina 7, I've followed you for years and I've never ever heard this flat earth stuff. Karina, I have touched upon it many times, but I've never dove into it. Like, I'm not like every show, I'm not going to do it, but I've definitely covered it. But I also, didn't cover it for many years as well. Right. My method of research from the start of Awakening has been to try and debunk whatever the topic is. That's the way I do it as well, Runs. Couldn't do it with Flat Earth. Same. Exactly. I learned and researched so much since listening to you since December 2021. Awesome. So glad to hear that, Jody. Thank you for that. Folks, if you want to tip your waiter, now would be the time. I'm delivering some good food here, and I appreciate it. I, for one, am glad that you're back, Dave. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, Big Good. I couldn't debunk it, so I tried to prove the globe. Couldn't do that either. Yeah. Let's see. Okay. Let me wrap up with a few here. Yeah, take a tennis ball, cover it with water, and spin it. The water flies off, so we are flat. Yeah, that's just one of the many. I do not have yes, I do have a P.O. box, Snowmake. Thank you. I have it, and it's in the scroll, but let me put it here, right there. You can either do that long address, but if it's a letter, you can do P.O. Box 1554, Dripping Springs, Texas, 78620, P.O. Box. So you can shorten that. But if somebody wants to send something FedEx or UPS, you need that whole address. Let me see. Yeah, I did a flat Earth zombie show. That's right, Robin. How you doing? I did. Yes. And yes, my Wake Zombies are the late night shows. Sned mentioned flat Earth last night as well. Yep. Yep. And birds saw green with water and trees in the middle. And it wasn't Antarctica though. It was the continent beyond the Antarctic wall. Yeah. So hold on. I need a pen. All right. Take your time. So, yeah. So guys, good questions there. Dave, please take a look at drop 175. Let me see. Let's see. And why am I looking at 175, brother? Expand your thinking, Captain Mike Green. This was based on your question earlier, but why did this come up? Confirm some trip codes, some code 0600, green 1, bunker apple, yellow sky, ... +1. Yes. Who countered? Do you believe in coincidence? Learn how to read the map. I believe that, yeah, I forget. I've decoded this before, and I can't remember exactly where I landed with that. Why did we go to 175? That is that does, play into the Rothschilds without question. The Rothschilds estate. Excuse me. Danny, I would never have thought of me being a flat earther. I measured the distance to a star. I am now a flathead. Good. Awesome. Let's do another all-nighter November 5th. Yeah, we're going to need to. We need to track, all the cheating. NASA scientists, Nazi scientists, Werner von Braun, NASA, Disney, Stanley Kubrick. Absolutely. Absolutely. Right. Okay. Awesome. Think it was planned in terms of Mike Green and something that they were doing with the they might have been busting. They might have been filming that. Right. What was going on? Tracy, love you, Dave. Thank you for all you do. Thank you, Tracy. It's been a minute. How are you? What happened to my Give Send Go link? Is it not on there? It should be on there. I did want to, let me do this. Excuse me. Oh, that's too much. This is, this is the Give Send Go. The head Sned is the Give Send Go. The head Sned. Thank you. And thank you again, all these patrons: Morgan Conklin, DGM Unlimited, Deborah Pascali, Chris Rotondo, Diana Lisi, Kelly Land, Julie Fackler, Patricia Jacobs. Thank you very much. Folks, if you want to find out how to do a little bit more about silver and gold, please call Sandy Williams, and she will tell you how I have bought silver and how I am also benefiting from other things in this buyers club. And so I highly recommend, if you're thinking about also 401k or IRA transfer into gold and silver, the best way to do it is through this company 7K, because they don't make any money. I don't make any money. There's no money created from that incident, from that event. That is why Phil Godlewski and others have gone to Goldco, because they actually make money off that transaction. And I do not make any money if you want to roll over your 401k, other than your membership. I make some money from that, but it's, you can go with find out more about it. If you want to find that out, please call Sandy. Yeah. So my friends, let me, let's see. Yeah, the Clay, all the times like South Shore Lake Pontchartrain in New Orleans, look across the other side 26 miles and still see the shore on the other side. That tells you something. Also across Lake Michigan, you can see Chicago. Curvature, you shouldn't be able to see any of it. So that's what's happening. The Give Send Go link is not in the comments section of the Rumble video. Okay, thanks. That's good to know. That's good to know, Marta. I appreciate that. So glad to have had these years, Dave. We are meant to be exactly here and now. We can't forget. Janice, thank you. Yeah. XRP is a good one to invest into. I've heard a lot about XRP. I haven't gotten into it yet. Nana Green Jeans, I listen to you and Todd for many late nights. Absolutely. Hunter Sabo, Dave, I'm finally a grandma. Sullivan Roger is with us, but mom has the C, so of course no opinion cloud allowed from me, but I'm blessed and it's in God's hand. I'm so happy to hear that, and sad to hear that as well. So, congratulations. Fantastic. Gotta finish watching the Dave script on Rumble. Folks, check that show out last night. That was awesome. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I can't get into IL. I gotta close it down. Good, a great show, Dave. Good hanging with y'all, Sned headers. Catch y'all in the next one. Absolutely. Much love to you all, folks. Appreciate you all. Derek, good to see you, brother. Great post today. I'm glad I was able to share that and send everybody your way. And yeah, folks, also check out Mr. Sciatica at Kevin Rotello. He's doing some great work, and he was the one that gave me the heads up. I mean, I would have seen the truth because I check out Trump's Truth all the time, but he really put me in touch with Spiritual Street Fighter, and I'm grateful for that. So, my friends, I'm going to get out of here before Sir Oliver shows up because we'll be here all night. But we'll do him another night. I know he was getting back from a trip, so yeah, Jan, you're not getting any notifications. Thank you for that about the show last night. I'm sorry to hear that. Just check in with me, like 8 to 9 o'clock, and you'll catch me. I think this was such a great night. Thank you, Teresa. Appreciate that. Renz, thank you, Dave. Always good getting your take on things. Good night, everyone. Julia, love watching you, Dave. Thank you, guys. You're such an amazing guy. Today is my first time commenting. I am usually lurking in the background or watching after the live. Thank you so much. Seashell 11, I am honored. Thank you for that. That's great. Yeah, great memes by Kevin Rotello. Some are so funny. Yeah, at Kevin Rotello, by the way. It's RATELLO. RA. Thank you, Maggie. Appreciate it. Good stuff, guys. Well, listen, keep up the good work, folks, spreading the good word. And really it's about, just living our best life as best we can. And despite all the crazy stuff that's happening in the world, I just welcome you all to bask in the goodness and the glory of our Creator, and find the small joys in life, because we have to shift our frequency if we're going to truly get out of this quagmire that we've found ourselves in as humanity. But we are capable of manifesting so much in our life. And I just invite you all to find ways to really, really celebrate yourself and celebrate your strength and your awareness, your mind that is willing to admit that we didn't know anything that we thought we did. That's a great humbling experience. And you'll notice all the ones that are still asleep and still, voting for Biden, voting for Kamala, and not awake to the terrible things that are happening as a result of their involvement, not aware of the deep state, think it's all conspiracy. Folks, those are the people who have the biggest egos that will not allow themselves to say, I didn't know anything. And I thought I knew everything. We are the most humble, or maybe I'm not so humble, calling myself the best, but we are the most humble because we said to ourselves, I know nothing. What I thought I knew. Everything I've been taught is a lie. And so honor yourself with that. Like, really give yourself a big fucking hug, man. Like, well done. Well done. And it's not an ego thing where, oh, now I know more than my family, or I know more than my spouse, or I know. It's not that. It's that we were humble enough to say, man, was I dumb? Man, was I indoctrinated? Man, was I completely brainwashed? That we should celebrate. We should celebrate. This weekend, please keep Saturday night open for movie night with yours truly, with my movie, which is somewhere here. Where is it? No, maybe Jasper took it. But if you only knew, well, I can show it to you. If you only knew, and it is, let me see. Here it is. Let me just show you this. This is my romantic comedy that I co-wrote, directed, wrote the title song with my composer, called If You Only Knew. I acted in it as well. I edited it. And yeah. And that's my old dog, Barney, right there. That's my dog, Barney. He was in the movie. James LeGros, Allison Eastwood, Jonathan Sheck, Gabrielle Anwar. And there you have it. And it was a kind of a formulaic romantic comedy of the 90s. And I think you'll really enjoy it. Hunter Sabo, great movie. Thank you, brother. Movie night, what time? Oh, that's a great question. Let me see. Maybe, what do you think? 8 p.m. Central? Or is that too late for East Coasters? It's a date, Dave. Shelley, thank you. Is that too late for East Coasters? 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock East Coast time? Is that good for you guys? Jonathan Sheck was great in this, by the way. And Allison was fantastic. I think it's the best work she's done. Yeah, we'll need some popcorn, Deanna. Let me see. Thank you for that, Jan. Love James LeGros and Drugstore Cowboy. Yeah, he was very, very big. He 8:30. No, perfect. Yes. Okay, so let's call it 8:30. Okay, 8:30 Saturday night. Please put the word out. I'd love a big crowd there. And I'm going to be announcing something very exciting after the movie. And I'm going to be doing a Q&A after the movie. So you guys can ask, how I made it, what I did, how it all came to be. and it'll be a lovely late evening, I think, into Saturday night. Okay. So good for you, Viola. Good. All right, my friends. I'll see you. But I will also probably see you tomorrow night as well, because I'm going to see what takes place tomorrow, and I'm going to see if we can get Oliver to join us tomorrow night. Folks, we're wrapping up the night with a little bit over 2,000 beautiful humans in the Sned Shed. Thank you for joining me tonight. Thanks for hanging. Please share this out if it speaks to you. And I will see you tomorrow. Much love. Bye-bye.